Episode 2. The Memoirs of the Clouded Kokoro.
It was a ghastly tale of a winter's night. One of an invisible killer and a crime perpetrated on the pavement along Briar Road. As the victim lay at death's door, the mystery of just who had stabbed the young lady from behind had been resolved. But no sooner had my friend saved that Eastern Exchange student from his harrowing plight than in the dim, flickering shadows of gaslight did a second bizarre crime rend the stillness of that very night. I dare say most can still recall the sensational headlines of the day. Haunted apartment of death, the condemned criminal's curse, the dread demon of coal gas. Yet, though the great detective had at once discerned the truth upon his arrival at the scene, it only proved to be the overture that announced the rising of the curtain on a most tragic play.
Well, hey audio everyone, Losity here, back in action for more The Great Ace Attorney attraction. We're playing Case 2, Memoirs of Kokoro. And we're now playing as Renosuke Naruhodo. My name is Renosuke Harunodo. I'm a fledgling lawyer, just starting out on my journey. 6 months ago, I arrived as a visiting student of law. Having the long voyage across the sea from the Empire of Japan to here, London, England. On the way, in quite extraordinary circumstances, I made the acquaintance of a world-famous detective. Currently, I reside in the attic of the detective's own lodgings, from where I run my legal, consultation of sorts. I'm successfully defending a number of clients in Britain's highest court, Old Bailey. But since a particularly grueling and unforgettable legal battle 4 months ago now, I haven't returned to the courtroom. In truth, I lost my right to return. But the epic trial was just one small part of an epic tale. A tale which was now about to awaken from its slumber. Thanks to a letter that arrived in the morning from my homeland. What a delicious smell wafting up the stairs. It must be nearly time for breakfast. I better go down to Mr. Shlom's suite and say good morning to the great detective and his flatmate. August 30th, 7:28 a.m. Shlom's suit.
Oh, Reno! Good! I was just about to call up to you. The bacon's ready.
Good morning, Iris. Smells delicious as usual. Before we eat, though, I have some news. How does... Shh. Not another word, Mr. Naruto. This could be just the abstruse thing. For my pre-breakfast stagnation, repelling mental stimulation, my dear fellow. Morning to you too, Mr. Slums. Ah, yes. I see. So that's it. Hi? What? The truth is as clear to me as today. The facilities of observation have revealed it again. What are you talking about? You, Mr. Naruto, you have this very morning met with a surprise. Well, is that not the case? Really, my dear fellow, it barely warrants explanation. Firstly, your hair is particularly unkempt, somewhat reminiscent of a bird's nest. Secondly, you haven't neglected to fasten a third button of your jacket. Clearly, when considered together, these two facts point to you having been flustered this morning. Can I talk now? But of course, of course. No, I don't look for admiration, you understand. My hair always looks like this. It's been this way since I first met you. Oh, it has. And the button was ripped off last night, if you remember. By you?
Literally, pulled your button off?
Ah, yes, I recall the incident now. It was after supper, was it not? As the evening advanced, I picked up my violin and began to play the welling notes of a haunting tune. But then, to my utter dismay, the third string snapped. Why would it have happened? Why? Little wonder then, that in my fixation, I grabbed the first button I saw and ripped it out from its proper place. I'd like it back now, please. It's troubling me that I can't fasten my jacket. And it's troubling me that you expect me to know where it is. Somewhere thereabouts, on the floor, when pursued. Helpful. What matters at the present time, my dear fellow, is simply whether or not my deduction was unerring.
But Hurley... No, Runo said, when he came in, didn't he? I had a surprise this morning?
Well, that really is a surprise. Yes, this man is the pride of the British Empire. Famous consulting detective, Mr. Herlock Sholmes. Can't be a single person in the world who doesn't know his name.
Alrighty then, enough of this silly conversation. Come and eat this bacon before it gets cold. And I have a new herbal tea for you to try too. My latest special blend.
And here we have Iris Wilson, Mr. Sholmes' lodger and companion. Truly exceptionally young girl. Who's the author of a highly successful civilization here in London. Yes, The Adventures of Herlock Sholmes, as published in Randish magazine. So, Mr. Naruto, won't you put us out of our misery? What surprised you this fine morning? Well, I received a letter from Japan.
Oh, from Susie, you mean? Was it really?
That's right, and she had some rather startling news, in fact. Oh, intriguing indeed. You must tell me all about it over breakfast.
Oh yes, what fun!
Oh my god. It's so funny to me. Present. We have to. Here's the rules.
Oh, so you have scales balances in Japan too, do you?
Well, yes, but nothing like Old Bailey's a huge example.
The thing about those scales is, they're only ever in balance right at the start of the trial, aren't they? Otherwise, they always seem to be hanging one way or another.
I noticed that exact same thing. That's pretty cute, actually. Oh?
Oh! Is this a Japanese kanji script embroidered here?
That's right. The name of the armband's owner.
Ah! So that's how you write Naruhodo, is it?
Actually, no. It's my best friend's name, not mine. It's pronounced Kazuma Asuki. I actually believe this armband is somewhat embodies his spirit.
So you have to write all those lines just for one person's name? Kanji is funny, isn't it?
Yes, it is. That's right. Never mind my feelings about my best friend. It's lines I really want to talk about. That's pretty cute. Yeah, honestly, they did a really good job for like the collection. Like this is pretty snazzy to look at. All right, present. Oh, Mr. Sholmes, about this. Shh, not another word. Oh yes, I see. This would be a collar for a breed of miniature canine with a particularly long neck, and for winter use. Actually, it's the armband I always wear that symbolizes my role as a defense lawyer. Precisely, which leads us to put one conclusion. Your arm is, in fact, that particular long neck of a miniature canine. I wish I never showed him this now. The man's barking mad. He is. He is a character. Time to examine. When it gets to the time of the year, wonders seem to leave their heartings line all day long. I love it. There's something very relaxing about watching the flames flit and dance about. But a fireplace in days of summertime is a waste of space. Really, no use at all.
But like a great detective in days of no crime and no criminals, huh, Early?
But consider this. Instead of a fireplace, a frost place. That's my latest idea. An extraordinary hearth from which emits a cold breeze in the hot summer months. What do you think? I think if you invented such a thing, your name would go down in history. The principle is extremely simple. One must, of course, light a cold fire in the hearth. Yes, of course. Brilliant! Trouble is, none of the fires I build ever burn cold. How it taunts me. So as you British say, it's a bit of a damp squibble. Guess so. I am very glad that it has this little check mark because you wouldn't believe just how annoying it is. In other Ace Attorney games where you're like, have I checked this already or not? Nothing of particular note. Books, papers, scientific implements. These shelves are stuffed to the gills. Miss Sasato wouldn't be able to help herself if she were here. Can't stand mess.
Susie might not be able to stand mess, but she won't dare touch those shelves.
Oh, why not?
Everything's in integral balance. Really spends ages on it. If you were to touch even one thing, the whole lot would come tumbling down.
Ah.
Susie noticed it was a very delicate arrangement right from the outset.
Make it sound like a meeting of great minds. The truth is, Mr. Slomes just needs to tidy up. I love their dynamic so much. I genuinely think Iris Wilson is one of my favorite characters in Great Ace. Because she's just so perky and fun. It's so cutesy, you know? These are different pieces of evidence from cases you've solved, aren't they, Mr. Slomes? Not quite, Mr. Naruto. Not quite. These trinkets are a selection from cases I've solved with particular emblem. They are souvenirs of my success. Memories, Mr. Naruto. Memories. Really? So, tell me about the case in which the bust of Napoleon was featured. I forget. Memories, he says. Wonderful, Mr. Slomes. Wonderful. It's just too funny to me. This ass just keeps saying random shit, and Naruto is just like consistently like a sassy bitch, but like never to his face, right? It's too funny to me. Okay. Ah yes, a huge metal chest with a lace cloth laid on it, being used as a table for tea and coffee. Very sturdy, that's for sure. Firmly locked shut.
That chest contains my father's detailed records of Hurley's many cases.
Yes, so I've been led to believe. Personally, I've never actually seen it inside.
And that's the way it will stay. Papers are a secret between Daddy and me.
She's so cute! Look at her! She loves her dad! Ah! That's like me for real, though.
Go opening it uninvited, you might find yourself being bitten.
What? Is there a beast inside there or something? It's not always that direct, Naruto-san. Oh, physics. Ah yes, this is where you note down ideas, isn't it, Iris? What's in the melting pot today? The blue carbuncle. Yes, it's from a case of theft that Hurley solved ages ago. The theft of a precious stone. A carbuncle's another name for a garnet, you see. Especially if it's cut with a rounded top. Oh, really? This garnet was blue, was it? Well, that's the thing. They're usually red. No blue garnets have ever been discovered. Oh. So who knows what the stolen gemstone actually was? That's the real mystery of the case. Proper Herlock Sholmes conundrum, huh? I guess so. There's so many different bottles up there on that charming little set of white shelves. Oh, do be careful, Naru. You mustn't try the contents of any of those bottles, even if you're hungry. I wouldn't do something stupid like that. I'm not a child, you know? Well, I wish I could say the same for Hurley. The other day, he polished off a full bottle of one of my alkaloids. You what? He said he was hungry. I'll be extra careful. What is Sholmes doing to this poor child? Like, honestly. Oh my god. I'm honestly just trying to move it half the time. I can type with my eyes shut, you know. I could believe it. My deadline's approaching. You sound like a Gatling gun. That reminds me of a dream I had the other day. It was such a funny one. Woke me up, actually. I was typing for a whole hour in the pitch black, but I didn't make a single mistake. That's incredible. Then, when it got light, I found that there wasn't any paper in the machine. Oof. I wonder if I actually been typing at all. You might just have fallen asleep on the job. Yeah. Sometimes it'd be that way, right? Sometimes people fall asleep on the job. Or to finding out what aroma your tea will have, Iris. Every single day. Well, I infuse a different concoction of herbs from the garden every time, so it's never the same twice. If you call it a concoction, it sounds more like a science experiment than something for tea time. Well, yes, that's because different blends can have very different properties. Some calm you down, some make you feel jolly, some give you energy. And today's particular blend is something quite special, so you're really in for a treat. That sounds ominous. Just drink it, Naruto-san. It's fine. Don't worry about it. Nothing of particular note, he says to the bag of chemicals right here. With a pip. I wonder if we could get our button around here, like if the button's like down here somewhere. Yes, no? I'm not seeing it. I don't think the button was shown. Regardless, let's keep looking. The machine is really imposing, isn't it? Never remember its name. Really calls it his great ankyloscope. Can't analyze anything at all. That doesn't really help me. What does analyzing something even mean? Ah, an extremely astute question, Mr. Naruto. Sorry? Well, as Iris said, my machine here spits out analysis results of anything with which you care to present it. But how to interpret those results? That's the key. And I confess, I have no idea. Clearly I'm going to have to construct a great ankyloscope to solve the problem. That might not help. Or maybe it would exactly help. You don't know. Honestly. A man's a genius. I like how the majority of this is just not talked about at all. Because they're just like, yeah, we know it's a big mess. We ain't AI this video files. We're gonna make you, like, click on everything. Oh yeah, Mr. Shlom's faithful musical companion. This violin made by someone famous? Yes, it's a Stradivarius. Though I'm afraid you'll have to save up for 100 years before you can afford one, Runa. But didn't you buy it for a song, Mr. Slomes? I found it on a pawnbroker among the forfeited articles. It really said Stradivarius on the label. What? The arrogant broker had no idea of its true value, you see. I paid a mere 55 shillings for it. Yes, I have something of a turn for shopping. Verloc Shlomes, bargain hunter. That true? Was that what he was famous for? But is it really a Stradivarius, then? Oh, but of course, my dear fellow. It said so on the label. I think perhaps the arrogant broker had something of a turn for selling. I was just way too like, oh no, like, yeah. Shlomes would never lie to me. And Shlomes is just like, yeah, believe me. So what was the startling news penned by Miss Susato? You remember the case of the haunted lodgings, Mr. Slomes? Oh yes, that's very interesting, you know. I don't feel entirely uncertain that a case of that nature did not occur. He's totally forgotten then. Anyway, in her letter, Miss Susato asks that we read over her case notes again and investigate further. It took place half a year ago. For what purpose? So something that Mr. Natsume said to her, apparently. He suggested that the real reason why she was called back to Japan so suddenly might have something to do with that case on the haunted lodgings. Oh? On Mr. Natsume's return to Japan, Mrs. Sato's father questioned him about the case, she says. Something Mr. Natsume said appeared to trouble Professor Mikatoba, prompting him to send that telegram. Oh, that case! Yes! It was very strange, wasn't it? Yes. I had compiled the whole story into a nice, neat manuscript ready for publication, too. Then Hurley here was all funny about it, remember? It's very mean. The story must not be published, you said. Very mysteriously as well. Really? I said that? Are you sure? Do you perhaps know something about it as well, Mr. Slomes? About why Miss Susato was suddenly told 4 months ago that she had to return to Japan? Her letter. This is a letter that arrived from Japan this morning, by international post. Oh, how lovely! Look at Sissy's beautiful writing. I wish I could read it. And how is your judicial assistant faring, may I ask? She's very well, thank you. In fact, according to what she's written, she actually appeared as a lawyer in the Japanese Supreme Court and won a case. Ah, really? Oh, isn't she so wonderful? A cut above your good self, my dear fellow. Won cases too, you know. Apparently Mr. Natsume appeared in the trial as a witness. Natsume. No, I don't recall that name. Of course you do. We helped the man. Twice. You know, in those 2 cases that took place on Breyer Road 6 months ago? Ah, the mustache twitchy man with the somewhat feline eyes and the mustache. Didn't have 2 mustaches, Hurley. Yes, who could forget those 2 cases? They made a very deep impression on me. Although I must confess the details are a little easy now. Very deep impression they made on you, clearly. Stupid.
It's been 4 months now since we waved Susie off at Dover. It was such a shock, wasn't it? The way she suddenly announced that she had to go back to Japan.
Indeed it was. Due to telegram she received from her homeland, I believe. That's right, telling her to return urgently. Yes, because her father had passed away. No! It just said he was suffering from a high fever, the cause of which was unknown. He's not dead. But according to this letter, that news about her father's fever was just a ruse.
A ruse?
The Susie's daddy lied to her so that she'd make the voyage back home?
Why would he do that?
I have to admit, I have absolutely no idea. But she believes it's almost certainly related to the case of the haunted lodgings. Summoning her back to Japan so suddenly like that. I wonder if Mrs. Sato's father is hiding.
Curly, do you know what it's all about?
Ah, well, who could say? What? But you said... Please, I have engagements, my dear fellow. My calendar is quite surprisingly full today. A stringent analysis of the matter would be excessive, I feel, even if I were quite at leisure. So, man the fort in my absence, won't you, Iris?
I will, Hurley. Don't worry. See you later.
He scuttled off rather quickly there. I think perhaps Professor Mikotoba is the only person hiding something here. Suzuki-san was involved in 2 cases, but only one of them was forbidden from being published. By, of all people, Mr. Sloane's?
Aha! I found them at last!
Iris, are they?
The notes about the case? That's right. Susie and I compiled them together. The case of the haunted lodgings. Do you want to read them, Runo?
Absolutely. Thank you, Iris. I had no idea what secrets could still be hiding in the shadows of this case. But perhaps if I read over the notes again, something might come to light.
That's the spirit!
And so, Iris and I decided to read over the case notes again together. Everything from what happened to our investigation, the first battle in court that followed. Reliving every detail. I just need to find a clue. I have all the time in the world. Because, of course, I'm no longer allowed to practice law in the courts of Great Britain. It was 6 months ago, a mysterious incident that unfolded in the wintry streets of London. A young woman was found lying on the snowing pavement of Briar Road with a knife in her back. Fortunately, her life was spared, but she was unconscious for several days following the incident. The fog was thick, and nobody saw her attack her. But by a cruel twist of fate, a visiting Japanese student was walking behind her at the time and was duly arrested. That man was Suzuki-san. The man who effected his arrest was Mr. Sloane's. Believing in our compatriot's innocence, Tsusato-san and I decided to represent Sasaki-san in court. And after a grueling trial of many twists and turns, He finally managed to prove his innocence.
Joyful, joyous, jubilation!
Was the man's reaction after the trial? His jubilation was short-lived. He received a telegram from Mr. Slums the following morning. The victim of the Briar Road stabbing has regained consciousness. Hurry to Bart's at once. The Susato-san and I summoned a hansom and headed immediately to the hospital. Next time.